Have you ever looked at your paycheck and wondered where a third of your money went? You work 40, 50, or maybe even 60 hours a week, and before you even see a dime, the IRS has already taken their cut. But then you hear stories about billionaires paying $0 in federal income taxes, and you think, is this some secret loophole that only the ultra rich and wealthy get access to? But here's the truth, it is not a secret. This tax code is available to the public, but the only problem is, it's 6,000 pages long. And let's be honest here, no one's going to read a 6,000 page long document. I certainly wouldn't. But that's the difference. The wealthy actually read it, or more accurately, they pay people to read it for them. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking out exactly how you can implement and take advantage of these strategies to avoid paying taxes legally, even if you're not a millionaire. Now, keep in mind, some of these strategies do require you to be already wealthy, which I will leave them towards the end of the video. Alright, so before we begin, I have to advise you guys that I am not a CPA or an accountant. Everything I say in this video are for educational purposes, and you should always do your own due diligence. Alright, so let's start out with the one that applies to literally everyone watching this video, regardless of your income. And that is tax advantage retirement accounts, such as the 401k, the Roth IRA, the HSA. These are not just boring retirement accounts that your parents told you about. These are legal tax shelters that the IRS itself has created. So here's how it works. With a traditional 401k or an IRA, every dollar you put in reduces your taxable income for that year. So let's say you made $100,000 and you maxed out your 401k at $23,500, which is the 2026 limit. You're only getting taxed on that $76,500. There's an immediate tax savings of thousands of dollars. And the money you put inside that account grows completely tax-free, which means you don't pay a single dollars in capital gains tax while it's compounding. You only pay when you take it out in retirement. With a Roth IRA, it's the opposite. You put money in you've already paid the taxes on, but it grows tax-free, and you get to take it out completely tax-free in retirement, which means every single dollar of growth is completely untaxed. But here's what it gets even better. The HSA, the health savings account, this thing is what I call the triple tax advantage. The money goes in pre-tax, it grows tax-free, and if you use it for qualified medical expenses, it comes out tax-free. It's the only account in the entire tax code that's triple tax advantage. And here's the strategies that most of the wealthy use and most people miss. They max out their HSA every year, but they don't actually use it for medical expenses. They pay for the healthcare out of pocket, and they let the HSA money compound for decades. And then in retirement, they reimburse themselves for all those years of medical expenses completely tax-free. Alright, so moving on with the next strategy. This one you can actually do today sitting on your couch without moving anywhere, and that is sales tax. There are 5 different states in the US with 0 sales tax. That means if your billing address is in any of those states, you pay exactly 0 sales tax. So here's how it works. When you buy something online, the retailer determines your sales tax based on 2 things: your shipping address and your billing address. If both are in a sales tax free state and the retailer only has that address to go off of, they legally cannot charge you sales tax. So the play is simple. All you have to do is get an address in a sales tax free state. You might ask me, Zeke, how do I do that? Well, here's your answer. This is what I call a registered agent. So a registered agent is basically a person or a business that has been authorized to receive legal documents or notices on behalf of another individual or business entity. And some registered agents will only cost you $1 to set up. And all you have to do is put in your billing address in a tax-free state into the billing address when you check out. And this works because even if you're just spending a few $1,000s a year online, the savings all add up. Because every online order, every subscription, every piece of software, all of it is tax-free just because of the address you typed in. Alright, so let's level up. Sales tax is only a small potato compared to this one. The next one is what I call the income tax. Now, just like the sales tax, there are 7 states in the US with 0 state income taxes. And if your legal residence is in any one of these states, you pay exactly $0 in state income tax. Let's put that into perspective. Let's say you're making $100,000 a year and you live in California. The state legally taxes you 13.3%, and that is already $13,000 gone. And let's say you live in New York now. Well, turns out the math isn't any better because 10.9% is the New York state income tax rate, over $10,000. In Oregon, remember, no sales tax, but they also get to tax you on income, 9.9%. But if your legal resident is in Texas or Florida, you pay exactly $0 in state income tax. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking, Zeke, I can't just pack up and move to Florida tomorrow, and you're right. For a lot of people, that is not realistic. But if you're a remote worker, a freelancer, or a business owners, you have a lot more flexibility than you think. And here's one thing a lot of people don't know about. South Dakota. Let's say you spend just one day there. The state legally allows you to claim residency after just one day. That's pretty much almost unheard of, but it is a strategy. So establishing residency in an income tax-free state isn't as simple as getting a PO box. There are specific rules. You need to actually spend time there, and most states want you to be there for at least 183 days. And though each state has its own threshold, but I would say if you're young, if you're mobile, if your work is remote, this is quite possibly the single highest ROI financial decision you'll ever make. And this is not a one-time savings, because every year for the rest of your career, tens of thousands of dollars can stay in your pocket instead of going to the IRS. Alright, so moving on, let's get into the strategies that's responsible for the most tax savings among wealthy Americans, and that is business ownership. But I'm going to be very clear up front. This only works if you actually have a business. So if you're a W-2 employee working a 9 to 5, these deductions do not apply to you. The IRS is very specific about this. And with that being said, if you do have a side hustle, a freelance income, or any self-employment income at all, this section is going to absolutely save you thousands in the long run. And here's why. When you're a W-2 employee, your taxes are dead simple, which is actually the problem. The IRS takes their cut before you see the money, and you almost have no deductions available. And the standard deduction is basically your only move. And when you own a business, the entire equation flips. You don't get taxed on what you make, you get taxed on what's left after you deduct your business expenses. Alright, let's give you guys a real example. Let's say you have a side hustle making you $100,000 a year. You can actually deduct your expenses first before you get taxed, such as your laptop, your internet, your phone bill, your home office, a dedicated desk, a dedicated room, and even your travel expenses or your vehicle and car. So that $100,000 might be only $60,000 in taxable income. Now, here's the mistake I see most people make, and I'm sorry to break it to you, but if you think you need a full-blown corporation or LLC that's registered somewhere to get these benefits, you actually don't. A sole proprietorship or a single member LLC gives you access to nearly all of these deductions, and it costs almost nothing to set up. Alright, now let's move on to the more advanced strategies. Real estate depreciation. When you own a real estate property, the IRS lets you deduct a portion of the property value every single year as depreciation. So even though the property is almost certainly going up in value, the logic is that buildings wear out over time. So you actually get to write off that residential property over a 27.5-year period. Now, let's say you have a $300,000 rental property that is depreciating approximately $11,000 every single year. And that $11,000 offsets your rental income dollar for dollar. And here's the kicker. It's actually a paper loss. You don't actually lose any money because the property itself went up in value and the tenants paid down your mortgage and you got a free tax deduction. And this is what most people mean when they talk about real estate being tax advantage. It's not that real estate is a better investment than stocks. It's that the tax code treats real estate differently than almost any other asset class. Now, I know most of you watching this don't own rental properties yet, but you need to understand these strategies because one day you will, and you will know exactly how to implement and use these strategies. Alright, now let's move on to the final strategy. This strategy is what most billionaires and the ultra wealthy individuals use, and that is capital gains. When you sell an investment, how long you held it determines everything. Let's say you hold a stock for less than a year and sell it for a profit, and that incurs what's called short-term capital gains. And it gets taxed at an ordinary income rate, which can go as high as 37%. And that's the same rate as your W-2 paycheck. But if you hold that same stock for more than a year, it becomes a long-term capital gains. And the top rate drops to just 20%. Same profit, same asset, but holding it longer cuts your tax rate nearly in half. But here's where it gets really interesting. The buy, borrow, and die strategy. This is what the ultra wealthy and billionaires use to borrow against their assets. So let's say you have $10 million in stock, and instead of selling it, you walk into a bank and put the stock up as collateral and borrow against it at a low interest rate. Let's say maybe 3 or 4%. And that loan, that is not counted as income. You don't pay $1 of tax on it. You live off the borrowed money and your assets keep growing. And the interest you pay on the loan is arguably less than the tax that you pay if you sold. So then when you pass away, your heirs actually get what's called a step-up basis. So the cost basis of those assets actually reset to their value on the date of your death. So if your heirs sell immediately, they pay 0 capital gains tax on top of it. Now, I know the majority of you watching are not able to use the strategies, since this is almost exclusive to the billionaires and the ultra wealthy who own massive shares of a company. But it's always a good idea to keep you prepared once you become one in the future, because I believe in all of you, so I hope you take heed of this advice. And as always, I'll be rooting for you.